Welcome in everyone. In this video I'm going to be covering the Dark Onslaught dungeon again. It's been a while since I covered it. In the first series of videos I did them all with no hero champs whatsoever, so I decided to step it up a little bit for this one and show you with just a few hero champs, just a modest amount. I'm going to show you the build that I'm using now. This is an unfinished minion build that I've just finished chiseling. And as you can see, you don't get any minions in the Dark Onslaught dungeon or anywhere else for that matter, so these charms are useless to me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip one side piece with hero charms on. This is 90%, so if you are still progressing and you're using lower rarity charms, it's going to match up to what you've got a little bit better. And the class that I'm using today is Alchemist. And then to bring the set more in line with the build guide that I did, if you haven't seen that, I will link it as well. I've put expose resist charm on the helmet, which does actually help when you're alchemist as well, but we'll get into that further along the video. So the stats are about 120,000 health, and for the armor it is 550,000. So yeah, it's pretty average overall. If you've got all your mythic gear set up, you're gonna have somewhere in that area of health. And then what I'm gonna do as well is I'm gonna plan ahead. Now, since I'm using Alchemist, for the last two floors I want to save the Alchemist Speed Gauntlets, the Holy Gauntlet and the Chaotic Gauntlet, and I'm already planning what I'm gonna do for those two floors. The third floor, it don't really matter what class you're using. Poison for that one. Poison is just king on that floor. It makes it so much easier for you. And on the second floor, I'm thinking about using Geber. I don't know how you say it. Geber? Is that how you pronounce it? But yeah, Geber, I'm planning on using him because he hits the back row. But as we'll progress, we will get into that. And as ever, the first floor, I would recommend to use just a weapon and try and get through it with the weapon. Now, for this floor in particular, even if you find it on the 5th and they are level 62, since it's the first floor, they're going to be a lot lower level. But even if you find it at level 62 on the 5th floor, MacLeod is the guy to take for this one because he takes out the healers in the back. Now, you do have to put him on the left, because if you put him on the right, then they won't change places and one will stay alive the entire time and just keep healing his friend. So if you put him on the left and then you take the one on the left out, they'll alternate, they'll switch places. So if you do have a hero that hits the back row, always put them on the left. And I'm selecting MacLeod and then any random hero, since it's the first floor. I just wanted to show you the strategy again. Obviously you've seen me do this if you saw the original set of videos as well. And again, for the first floor, I would try and use the Knight's Gauntlet if you can, because that's going to save you better ones for the later floors if you need them. But if you want the Hunter speed to speed up MacLeod, I would recommend Maniacal, because the Logician Gauntlet is very valuable to keep for the later floors because it is so good at gaining rage. So the Maniacal, it gives you the speed, but it's still a pretty useless gauntlet, so it's worth leveling up the Hunter speed on that gauntlet and then leaving it alone, and you can use it for this purpose. And as the fight goes on, what I'm trying to do is, because he summoned the undead first, it's RNG, he can summon the healers first and then the stage is set really, but because he summoned the undead first, I'm trying to wipe one out each turn. I'll wipe them both out each turn and then cross my fingers that he summons them again, because they are a lot easier to deal with than the healers in the back. And I know most of you will have seen this one and seen him healing over and over again with the minions in the back, and it becomes a bit of a pain. So that's what MacLeod is for. MacLeod can take those guys out and help you out. His rage is delay as well, so if the heals are charged and you hit that rage, it's going to delay that and then give you more time to wipe them out. So yeah, MacLeod is perfect for this floor. And then on to the second floor, we have got Sister Nona. She's on the back row. She is cult type, and I wanted to show you for this floor the Champion's Gauntlet as well. I'm saving the Chaotic and the Holy for the last two floors since I'm playing Alchemist in this run. I've got 90% Alchemist equipped, so I'm playing Alchemist and I'm saving the Alchemist Gauntlets for the best chance at beating the final two floors. And I'm taking Geber because Geber, he hits the back row and he gives you regen. He hits the back row pretty hard. It's not as strong as Hermes, but obviously there's no recoil involved, so Hermes is on a different level. But this is very similar to the Krella Stormwind flaw, where you always take Hermes. For this one, I always like to take Geber, whether I've got charms on or not, and Geber works very well with the Rebel Gauntlet as well. He takes a while to charge up. I think it's 7 moves before he charges up with any other gauntlet than a Alchemist Gauntlet. But if you watch closely in this fight, he summons these militia guys and he summons the undead stabby guys, and both of these enemies hit you twice in one turn. So what I've done is, usually when I see it, I take the Champion's Gauntlet, because the Champion's Gauntlet, it gains 8% rage every time you get hit. And if you do the maths, that works out to be about 12 or 13 hits. If you don't punch at all, you need to get hit 12 or 13 times for the rage to fill up. I don't know, I haven't actually tested it to see if it's accurate, but those are the numbers. And because all these enemies hit you twice, it gains rage pretty decently on this floor if you mix in a few punches and stuff like that. I only took Eileen just to fill the slot. I'm not using her, I'm just using Geber for this. But yeah, that is how I do that one with the Champion's Gauntlet. And then on to floor 3, it is Prototype. So the combo that I usually go with for this is the Rebel Gauntlet. I've got the buff sword, and I take Balendu and Herne. Because with this setup you can gain rage at a decent rate, you can gain rage pretty quickly. Balendu gives you a regen, which helps gain rage as well. You don't particularly need to be leveled up, but it gives you regen. And Herne's Poison Rage does not hit the Cult Mech Rider's armor, and if you don't hit their armor, they don't use their skill, they don't heal, and their heal gives them haste. So if you see them use that skill where they spin around and that, they get haste and it heals a ton of armor, and then they hit you 4 times and charge that skill up in one go as well. So if they use that skill, you end up taking a lot of damage very quickly, because it charges up every turn, that they just keep rinsing it and repeating it. So yeah, it makes them pretty formidable enemy. But if you take Herne like this, they don't use that skill, so it makes them a lot easier, and you can clear out those demons every single turn as well to make sure that they don't heal the rest of the team. And yeah, this combo just works. It just works. And now floor 4, it's a fan favourite, it's Ajax. People either love this guy or hate him, and if they hate him, it's because they don't know how to beat him. So I'm going to teach you. You take the Chaotic or the Holy Gauntlet for this one. Chaotic is better, but as I'm using Alchemist, I'm saving the Chaotic for the 5th floor. And you take Melissan and Ayako. And then in the first round, you cross your fingers and you hope that he summons Cult, because they are level 60 at this point, and Cult are vulnerable to stun. The Yetis that he summons are not vulnerable to stun, so it has a larger chance of failing. But you won't see it fail pretty much ever against these Cult guys. So what I'm doing is I'm punching to gain rage, because I don't have the Chaotic Gauntlet, I've got the Holy Gauntlet, which is not as good. And if you stun one, he will hit you instead of summoning anymore. And then you just keep stunning one each turn until you can get into that back row. I decided to punch this one a couple of times so I didn't kill him, because the weapon is attuned to Cult, so it's going to do high damage to these guys. And if you finish him off with the final move of your turn, instead of using the hero base power, then he'll summon some more. And yeah, you're better off just taking it a little bit steady there to make sure that you can kill him in the middle of your turn. And then as long as you end the turn with a hero base power or a rage power, he will continue to not summon anything and keep hitting you. And yeah, this floor is as simple as that. Don't matter if it's on the 1st all the way through the 5th, you just use this strategy. Use these 2 heroes, save them for this guy if you can. Millicent Poison is very useful for other floors like the Prototype one that we just had. But if you have Herne leveled up, you can use Herne for that and save Millicent for this, which is definitely useful. And yeah, that's all there is to it. And now on to the 5th floor. I was recommended this combo by a guildmate of mine, And I know that he was laughing when he recommended me it. But I'm trying it out. I've got the Chaotic Gauntlet. I'm taking Carmilla because she's got heals, she's strong versus beast. And I'm taking Dr. Flox. Mine is 7 stars, so mine's going to be a little bit more powerful. And you see his rage power there, he has a chance to expose you. I've got the expose resist on the helmet, so it should be okay. It still exposes me in this fight though. And he deals between 40 to 75,000 to each enemy. To all of them, it's not distributed. And you get 33% of that damage in recoil. So if there's 5 enemies, it is that times 5. And then you'll get 33% of that damage as recoil. And he has a chance to expose you as well. So yeah, it's a pretty dangerous hero to have. I think my health pool is about 650, 700k altogether. So yeah, I decided to try this combo out. And what you want to try and do is make sure, because I've got the Chaotic Gauntlet, if you can fill the rage up and have both the hero powers charged, both the hero base powers charged, you can use a rage from Flox, and then you can use both the hero's base powers, and then you can rage Carmilla to heal it back up again. Except I did it wrong, and I used Flox rage too early, and yeah, you'll see what happens in a minute. Dr. Flox has the burn on base power. You're going to see that a lot more often if you are using him, because the base power is obviously a lot safer to use. I love the rage animation from him though. And yeah, I just got a lot of recoil then. 180k damage, and out punching to try and get Carmilla rage up. But I didn't focus on the demons and I ended up getting dizzy on me. So this fight is a little bit dicey, but it does show you what I've been talking about, where you have to try and get rid of the dizzy demons as soon as you can. Don't worry, I didn't die though. And what I'm doing is, because I'm dizzied, I'm looking at the health bar, and I've got a decent amount. So I'm deciding whether to swing the sword or use a Carmilla base for the heal, or even use the recovery potion that I've got. So I've got a few options there. And I'm 1 HP right now, so I need to heal that up. I decided to go with a Carmilla rage to heal that up. And yeah, this ended up being quite a dicey fight. But that Carmilla rage, this is with 90% Alchemist charms. That Carmilla rage, it deals damage to all the enemies. It's not distributed, and you get a heal for each enemy that it damages. So it is very good. And then her base power heals you as well. And she is super useful in the Blood Moon event. When that does come out, I will be doing a video and I'll be using this hero as well. So you don't particularly need to level her up for that portal, but it helps. So if you are watching this and you haven't leveled her up yet, yeah, I would put a few resources into level her up, because she's actually a very good hero. She might get a new skin as well. She's had about 3 new skins in the Blood Moon events so far. I'm using the latest skin that we got last year right now. Terribly underrated hero. And as you can see, I'm taking it slow. He's just run out of summons. So I'm trying to charge up the hero's base powers now, so that I can use both the rages in tandem, which is what I should have done in the first place, according to my famous Alchemist guildmate. And then I used the recovery potion there, so that as I go into the next turn, I've got plenty of armor, and I can try this combo out with the rages and see what happens. And Dr. Flox is just devastated, but you have to set it up right like this. You see how long it took me to just set that up? I wasted a potion and everything to try and set this up. But yeah, Flox is devastating. And then using both heroes' base powers, but he did expose me, so I decided to swing the sword at the end of the turn. Even with an expose resist, he exposed me. So yeah, it's devastating as Dr. Flox is. He is a dangerous one to use, especially if you've got Alchemist charms. You've just got to plan it out carefully. And I decided to finish it off with a Carmilla rage, because I love the animation. And there you have it. That is my guide to using the Alchemists in the DoD. I have been James B09. Good luck out there.